Hey guys, Dan here from beagainedcharacter.com, and today we're going to talk about bro science and fat logic. These are two different terms that you may hear or you may not hear in and around the fitness industry and also just on the internet in general. First off, we're going to approach bro science. First of all, not to be confused with the bro science YouTube channel, which is a satire channel and it's hilarious. But you know, it's kind of aimed actually at the culture that we're about to talk about. Bro science is basically any kind of false fitness information that typically gets passed around at gyms among people who are fitness enthusiasts but not necessarily scientifically inclined fitness enthusiasts. Basically, you know, like somebody, you know, real big, muscly, good at, you know, lifting weight and very in shape, just comes across some fitness myths that may or may not have worked for them coincidentally, and then they pass it along to somebody else, and it just gets repeated in the big echo chamber that can be a gym or now the internet. So I'll address a couple of those and just generally also how to keep an eye out for bro science, because it can really steer you wrong if you're not careful. First off, one of the most common ones is the idea of meal timing and metabolism. There's been the idea that, you know, if you eat 6 meals a day, small meals, that, you know, regular intervals, you'll boost your metabolic rate and you'll burn more fat and stuff like that. That's total crap. There's absolutely no science to support it. In fact, there's very little science to support anything about meal timing. Provided you hit the amount of nutrients that you need in your day, you know, you get a specific amount in a 24-hour period, and you also couple that with sleep, your body doesn't really care that much. You can, you know, worry about, you know, nutrient timing as far as having, you know, enough energy for your workout. Like I find if I don't eat anything for the day and then I try and work out, my body's like, oh, I hate you, I'm not doing this. But for the most part, like, you know, eating 3 meals a day or eating 6 meals a day or eating 2 meals a day or whatever, your body's really not going to notice the difference, especially if it develops into a routine. You know, I have it, you know, every single day I eat 2 meals. That's it. You know, your body generally gets along with that really well. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. You don't have to worry about how close you eat to bedtime. You don't have to worry about how big a single meal is or whatever. All you got to worry about is your calories in and your macro balance, you know, whether they get enough protein, fat, carbohydrates, and enough variety that you get all the micronutrients you need, you know, your vitamins, your minerals, stuff like that. Speaking of which, vitamins, also typically bro science. Not always the case. If you're at the very upper level of athleticism, you know, if you're working out a lot, or if you're competitively powerlifting, or if you compete in a sport or something like that, sometimes you need to worry about getting extra vitamins and minerals in your diet for specific reasons, especially if you're on certain cycles. But generally speaking, multivitamins are not a necessity. They're just something more for the nutrition store to sell to you. Beyond that, just nutrient timing in general, beyond just meals, it doesn't matter that much what you eat right after a workout. It doesn't even matter that you eat right after a workout for the most part. If you are looking to bulk up, it is, you know, good to eat immediately after a workout within the first hour, because there has been some evidence pointing towards the fact that if you eat immediately after a workout, it will cause your insulin levels to spike a bit, which can help you gain weight. But it doesn't matter much what you eat, and it doesn't matter how much of whatever you eat. You don't have to worry about, like, I gotta get my protein shake in right after my workout. It doesn't matter that much. Again, you get the food in the day, you hit your macros, you get your micronutrients, you're going to notice very little difference. Scientifically speaking and just in general. Let's see, what else? Oh, cardio kills gains. If you have not heard of this before, you will at some point, I guarantee it. Cardiovascular exercise killing gains in both strength but particularly size. Men and women who are looking to bulk up in muscle will hear this being preached to them over and over again. Now, it is in a way true, because the fact is, if you are lifting heavy weights and you are also doing cardiovascular exercise, you're going to be burning a lot of calories. In order to gain weight, we need a caloric surplus. We need to be eating more calories than we burn. So if you are doing cardio and lifting weights, you're going to need to eat more food. If you don't eat more food, you're not going to notice any gains because you're not eating enough food. So in that respect, cardio kills gains is true. But unless you're like a marathon runner and you're doing like 10 plus miles multiple times a week, cardiovascular exercise isn't going to significantly affect your weight gain. Like, you can totally gain weight while still doing cardio. You just have to eat a whole buttload of food. Moving on from there, right from that to lifting weights makes you bulky. All right, it drives me nuts, especially how women. No offense, but this is just what I noticed. Women are very, very nervous about lifting weights. All right, men are too to an extent. Nobody, you know. There are people that don't want to get huge, and that's totally fine. Like, there's lots of people that just want to be, you know, strong and skinny and happy. That's cool. But the fact is, lifting weights by itself will not make you bulky. It will never make you bulky. If you were a woman that goes to a gym and lift weights, I'm sorry, but I guarantee somebody is going to come up to you at some point and say, you shouldn't be doing that. Nobody wants a woman with big muscles. First of all, not true. Second of all, lifting weights doesn't necessarily make you get big muscles anyway. You have to eat lots of food. You have to eat the right balance of food. You have to lift the proper amount of weights in the right intervals. Like, there's a lot of stuff you have to do to gain significant muscle. For the most part, lifting weights is just going to make you strong and make you burn calories. It's your decision as to how much you want to eat, and that's going to decide how much weight you do or do not gain. So lifting weights by itself does not make you gain muscle, like huge amounts of muscle. It doesn't make you bulk up, and you shouldn't avoid lifting weights because lifting and strength training in general is amazing. It's so good for you, and if you do it properly and you do it safely, it's pretty much the best exercise you can do. To move on from there, let's approach the word toned. I hate toned because it's the dumbest term ever. There is literally no definition for what toned is. Toned, when most people say it, means I want to be skinny and I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. Like, that is basically the full parameters. Like that, if you ask somebody, well, I don't want to get all bulky or huge. I just want to lose some weight and get toned. What does that mean? Generally speaking, it just means you want a low body fat percentage, but not so low that you're like super shredded and ripped. And the fact is, if you want to get super shredded and ripped, you got to work just as hard at it as you do if you want to get bulky. Like, it's not easy. It's very easy to approach a very healthy, you know, relatively low body fat percentage. I say very easy, you know, just in that if you eat well and you work out regularly, it will happen. To get to the point where you're all super veiny and, you know, you see your individual muscle striations and fibers and stuff like that, which is generally what people want to avoid when they say they want to be toned, you got to really work at it. You have to specifically tailor your macros and everything to specific points. You got to stay right on top of it, and generally it's very difficult to maintain for a long period of time. So people that are worried about being, you know, bulky, and people that are worried about being super wiry, generally speaking, it's not going to happen unless you work really hard at it. If you want to be toned, as in strong, skinny, relatively low body fat percentage, just exercise and eat at caloric maintenance level and don't worry about anything else. Like, it drives me nuts. So many times I've seen somebody, well, I just lift 5-pound weights and I do this a bazillion times. You know, how many reps? Oh, like, you know, 40 or 50 to a set, and then I do like 6 sets. I'm like, are you insane? That's not doing anything for you. Like, you need to up your weight. Well, I don't want to get huge. You're not going to get huge. Sorry, this is a bit of a point for me. Anyway, so toned, really, really dumb bro science. All right, don't worry about getting bulky or getting super skinny. All right, just eat well, lift weights, and go run. So that's bro science. Generally speaking, if you think you're hearing bro science, the best thing to do is just go search about it online. Type in, is so and so true? Because nowadays you can find scientific studies really quickly and easily, first of all, and more importantly, you can also find people that have read those scientific studies that can give you the basic straight snot without, you know, having to read through the study yourself. If you're ever unsure about anything, you know, you can go ahead and email me or drop a message on the forum or whatever. We'll set you straight. So that's it for the bro science section. Next up comes fat logic. Now, fat logic may sound a little offensive. Some people don't like the term fat. Some people, you know, revel in the term fat. Whatever. I'm just using it because fat logic is basically any reasoning that can make you fat if you follow it. All right? And also, it's reasoning used by overweight people to justify why they are fat. Okay? It's basically just excuses. All right? For the most part, it can be covered by excuses. So, excuse number one, the thing that you hear the most is starvation mode. All right? Anytime you recommend to somebody, caloric restricted diet, the best way to lose weight, they're going to say, oh, well, my body's going to enter starvation mode and everything that it eats will just get packed on as fat. That doesn't happen. That is false. That is falsehood personified, okay? The fact is, if you go super, 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 super low calorie, your body will start to freak out and it will start to act weird. But it still can't pack on fat unless you give it food to turn into fat. So yeah, if you say starve yourself for a week, like literally starve yourself, and then at the end of that week you binge on a giant meal, you're probably going to gain more weight from that giant meal just because your body's like, whoa, calories, let's pack this on. But the fact is, eating at a caloric deficit, less calories than your body needs, is not going to send you into starvation mode and make you magically gain weight from nowhere, because you have to eat the food in order for your body to turn it into fat. If your body's using all the food you eat to just run the rest of your metabolic functions, it doesn't have any food to turn into fat. So don't worry about starvation mode when you're thinking about cutting back on some food. Now, this is not to trivialize real eating disorders like anorexia nervosa or bulimia or anything like that, because those are serious business, and that's an entirely different area of health and fitness to worry about. You're not going to calling yourself anorexic because you eat a little bit less food than you did before is actually really insulting to people that have done battle with anorexia before, because it's an illness. So don't worry about all that. Don't say, oh, I feel like I'm anorexic, because you're really insulting people if you do that. And if you really do suspect that you are having issues with food consumption, you need to talk to a medical professional, not be watching one of my videos. So that's starvation mode. Next up is eat magical substance, lose 10 pounds in a week. You don't lose weight by eating stuff, okay? You can lose weight by eating better, but you don't lose weight by eating stuff. Like, there's so much that, like, if you eat this one magical superfruit, you will lose. No. Just eat less and exercise more. Like, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. You don't have to do that nonsense. It's just people trying to sell you stuff. Don't go buy that diet plan. You don't need it. Just eat less, exercise more. In that respect, also, let's talk about superfoods. Like, there's I saw this great thing, Superfood Salad, all right? And it's got like all kinds of really great like dark green veggies and nuts and seeds and granolas and God knows what else. This salad was like 1,600 calories. Like, that's more calories than like 3 Big Macs, okay? Like, a salad is not necessarily healthy. If there's too much food in that salad, it will still make you gain weight. Metabolic conditions. Okay, now there are people in this world that have genuine metabolic conditions. Their metabolism moves slower than other people's metabolisms. It's very rare. If a doctor hasn't told you that you have it, you don't have it. And what's more, those people can still lose weight. It's just harder for them. And you shouldn't be, hijacking their actual health conditions as a justification for why you can't lose weight, because you can still lose weight. If you have a thyroid condition, if you've got, on certain medication, whatever, you still have to just eat less food than your body needs to survive. It needs to keep its basic metabolic functions going. Now, the fact is, sometimes you shouldn't be trying to lose weight. If your doctor says, hey, you're on this medication, don't try and lose weight right now, don't try and lose weight. But if you talk to your doctor says, oh yeah, you can exercise, you can still lose weight on this, and you're still not losing weight, it's because you're still eating too much food. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Spot reduction / wraps / this magical thing works when I wrap it around myself and it loses weight. That stuff, first of all, the before and after pictures, they're almost never from the same angle with the same lighting, and they don't really show, like, the actual area where the fat magically disappeared. Most of the time, those wraps and stuff just work by dehydrating your fat cells in the area. They make your fat cells sweat out their contain moisture, and then your body will shrink because it's holding less moisture, but you're just getting dehydrated. That's why it always comes back again. That's why these people are addicted to these wrap things, because as soon as you rehydrate, you swell back up again, because you're not actually losing any weight. You're not burning any fat. You're just sweating. To that respect, spot reduction. Also false. If you want to lose fat on your tummy, doing 5,000 crunches is not the way to do it. All right? you're not going to lose weight in a specific area by exercising that specific area. In order to lose weight in a specific area, you have to lose weight overall. If you want to, you know, people are like, oh, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to lose my butt. Do squats, all right? Trying to reduce fat from a specific area or gain fat in a specific area is just not the way your body works. Sorry. Finally, just to cover the overall fat logic realm, to lose weight, you need to consume less calories than your total daily energy expenditure allows. So your body needs, say, 2,700 calories to maintain its current weight every single day. All right? If you eat 2,500 calories, your body will burn what fat stores it has to make up the difference. And you just continue this process. This is the most basic form of dieting, you know, there is. You eat less calories than you need to power your body, and you will lose weight. That's it. And if you exercise, it will assist in that because you'll gain muscle, which will increase your metabolic rate. One of those things that does increase your metabolic rate a bit is to gain muscle. You will also burn more calories. Your body needs to burn calories to stay active. So that's where exercise comes in. But for the most part, if you are hitting the gym, I see this all the time. People say, I'm hitting the gym 7 times a week, 8 times a week, 12 times a week. I don't even know why somebody would do that. I'm hitting the gym, you know, X times per week. I'm on the elliptical machine for an hour. I lift weights for half an hour after that. You know, I can't lose weight. It's just, you're still eating too much food. I'm sorry. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. Losing weight is not, it's not complicated. It's just hard. Okay? It's simple but difficult. You have to eat less, exercise more, and that's it. So anybody that's telling you otherwise is fat logicking you. Don't listen to them. They're wasting your time, or they're trying to sell you something. So I hope I cleared up some myths today. We're going to do a couple of these again in the future. Not necessarily the ones that I've covered, but other myths, because I just like striking down myths in the fitness industry because they just drive me nuts. So that's it. If you like this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up below. You can also hit subscribe if you like the channel. I'd really appreciate it if you come back and watch my other stuff. Also, check out below in the description, link to the mailing list. You'll get updates every single time something gets posted, either here or on the blog. You'll also get a couple of free ebooks and also some exclusive offers and stuff in the future. So again, like, subscribe, mailing list below in the description, and see you next time. As always, live boldly, change the world, and continue to be awesome.